Okay, so it's once again a devlog. Only devlog and 1, 2, 3. It's going to be slightly annoying, I guess. And yeah, as you can hear just now, I put something down and that's my phone. So this time it's going to be recorded through phone. And for what's the reason, then it's actually quite simple. Because originally I planned to use like my new laptop, like those old laptop to record this audio, but it doesn't work out because like the old laptop doesn't even have like proper updated network card, so it's like it doesn't even support like what you call those like 5 MHz, is it 5 gigahertz bandwidth. So yeah, and yeah, it's just mind blowing. I also don't really know what to do with it, as it just because it's just very hard to like access or download anything without using like 5 gigahertz bandwidth internet Wi-Fi. I mean, I do have the 2.4, but I make it like hidden by default, so it's like hard and I guess just simply a pain in the ass to edit. And of course, yeah, so let's say once again the vlog. So yep, that's, I guess that's like why background story for why am I using like this phone for recording the audio. But anyway, let's proceed. So as you can hear, the background is still as chaotic as ever, and I guess I don't plan on changing it. I guess it's like some kind of masking. I hope it plays the role, does its job, just making the algorithm confused and then doesn't even know what's like what's the main point, I guess. Because like having this kind of like multiple audio and human voice, I guess it's like it's probably very confusing. Yeah, it's like it's almost equivalent to like the level of the Google captcha, the captcha. When you disable the image, right, image captcha, they will give out those like this kind of audio, like one five, something like that. Yeah, it's something equivalent to that, I guess. So I guess it will probably like be kinda confusing to the AI, at least maybe for like a few years, until maybe when the AI can properly classify noise and just noisy environment, or I don't know, like, because in the end this kind of noise have noise is just simply a bunch of context things that just got chopped off, or like, or it's just like fighting for the loudness, and in the end there's like just like multiple way to like represent it. There's no like absolute correct solution. There's just like only a better solution, I guess. It's just like when you go to some festival or matsuri, it's always like that. Everyone like speaking and whatnot. It's not like others chart is not important, but it's more of like you want to pay attention with your friends, like you want to like chat with them, your friends or whatnot. So, and not like chatting with strangers, or listening to strangers. It's kind of something like that. But anyway, so yeah, back to the main point. This month I actually doesn't really have much to show off, I guess. If I just put it naively, or just blank, just straightforward. There's not much I can show because honestly most of those things are actually just ideas, or maybe it's just in the alpha step. And the reason for it is because job or work or whatever crap personal life stuff comes on, and yeah, there's just not much time that you know there's just not really that much time to like program or actually make like applications or whatnot to like actually show. But of course it's it's more on the nature of like, because I'm like I guess I'm just like re-evaluating myself, like my projects and whatnot, or maybe just like doing some planning instead of just creating a bunch of fun projects which may not help me in the future. And you will be, some of you would maybe be a bit curious, how come some projects that just won't help you in the future, and by those projects I mean maybe for example like some games, like games doesn't help you in your future, it doesn't helps you cut costs, or maybe tell you how to save some money, or maybe tell you how to invest, or maybe tells you like what's the stock market price, like games just doesn't do that. Games is just mainly for entertainment, right, in most case, I guess, unless you're talking about chess or whatnot. Then there's strategy games, I guess, that would kind of train your brain to like do some planning or whatnot that may help you in the future. But if it's just entertainment, just pure entertainment, then of course it wouldn't help you. So yeah, I noticed that I was like kind of straying from it's not really straying because like since last month, right, it's actually I didn't actually create anything that's like like straying too far. Because like last one is most of it is like still practical, but the problem is like when those projects, right, maybe like it's like how do I say this, it's just like it's not that stable enough, I guess, like in the scale of like huge corporation, or maybe like if you scale it up to multiple computers, or maybe if you just scale it up into a more practical case. Like so for example, like last month I utilized the old tools, right, and do that linear solving tools. But in the last example, right, as you can see, or maybe you could refer to the last video, it still hits some limitation of like the algebraic representation for like what I have in my mind. And yeah, I just noticed that, and I think like I just should have like gained some more tools or powers, or skills to just make it possible to represent those things that are just really, honestly, like put it simply, it's just simply like a very straightforward thing. It's just like very stupid thing, right? Just it's not like it's not like it's not like to offend others or whatnot, but if you put it in a very practical scale, or maybe if you like scale it up to like a very like high standard, I guess, if you just put some standards higher than what you would expect from a normal programmer, then normally it just wouldn't be accepted, right? Also for example, if like imagine one day you open your Windows and you just cannot move your mouse like fast enough to maybe play some games, it would just be like a turn off, or just be like, what, right? they always should be like, you know, have some solution, you know, maybe like sensitivity, you know, maybe the mouse DPI, right? So there's just a lot of way to change it, right? You know, to overcome those so-called limitations, right? So it's like, yeah, and I'm also like thinking like, you know, it's just like I should like, you know, gain more skills and, you know, tools to like, you know, to just make it simple, you know, and quick and fast to like, you know, gain, you know, just solve these like small problems that are actually helping me to like gain more practical skills, or maybe just make any kind of apps or any kinds of tool that I created just becomes much more, you know, useful, you know, within like just very low cost, you know. Because like, so for example, for a mouse, like buying a high DPI mouse is not like a very hard thing, you know. Like if we are like talking about, you know, just simply buying that action, right? Of course, inventing like a higher DPI mouse is another story again. But I think like I hope you get what I mean, right? The point is not creating the mouse, but more of like, you know, making the system just support higher DPI, you know, so you can just simply plug any mouse you want, you know, and it just solves the problem, right? Because like if you have like 10 mouse theoretically, you know, and you can just like quick swap it, you know, maybe sometimes you want slower mouse, sometimes you want faster mouse, and then maybe some mouse can have like, you know, hybrid or multiple switch DPI, you know, and you could just like switch, you know, in real time, you know, while you are using it. So like, yeah, and you would just feel like, wow, awesome, right? You know, because that's also like how some gaming mouse work, right? So it's like, you know, that's some high quality product, you know, product that other people wants to use, and they will find it pleasing to use, okay, at least. And it's not really like we are chasing the crowd or, you know, majority rules, but it's more of like there's a reason, you know, why people like it, you know, because it's just useful, you know, it's just simply good engineering, you know. Like having a stuff fix is actually also good, you know, but you know, maybe it's just like, I guess it's like some sort of trade-off, you know. You could have like a very stable and fixed system that just doesn't change, but it's just not fun, I guess, and not really that practical, because, you know, again, once you're talking about practical life, you know, your daily life, there's just too many things going on, and many things could go wrong. So yeah, I also think like, you know, it's just needed. So yeah, in the end, it just leads to a bunch of ideas this month that just doesn't really get implemented properly. Like I plan on creating, you know, some sort of GUI with like, you know, dynamic code, hot reload, you know, and then it's just like half-ass, just honestly blankly, you know, just half-ass. It's just not completed. It's not really something I could show, and there's just like a lot of bugs and whatnot, and some of it is just it's not even started yet. It's just like in a, you know, alpha state, you know. It's just like writing down how it should theoretically work, and what's my idea, like that. And it's not even stable yet. So yeah, there's just literally practically no way I would show you or whatever, or whoever, you know, as like a presentation or whatnot. So yeah, this one is just kind of lame. Of course, if you're like, you know, if you're like, you would be curious, like if like that's the whole month, then it would be like kind of, you know, like WTF, you know, like nonsense, right? If like the whole month is just like planning, you know, and just do nothing other than that, and maybe doing some prototype, it would be like kind kind of weird, I guess. Maybe it would be possible or normal for other people, but I guess for me, I would just go crazy, just simply, writing documentation, thinking ideas, checking some documentation, planning, just like a whole, I don't know, like some sort of project manager in like the alpha phase or something like that. I guess it's possibly realistic thing that would be done by, I don't know, professional, thinking about what not limitations, for a long time. But of course, as you know, I'm not the kind of person that does that. I would prefer, just do it and then find what's the limitation, and then if the limitation is like actually really hard to solve, then I would just scrap that project and throw it into some dustbin or some crap, right? Because of course, why would you do that? Because it's very simple. Because I just want a fast project cycle, and if that project is not really possible, then it's just not possible, right? Because I don't really have much assistance. I cannot hire other people. I doesn't really have much financial power, to do anything much more or grand, or just challenge myself or spend more time. I mean, I have practically unlimited time, most of the time, but recently, because of uni and whatnot and this and that, personal life, so yeah, of course the time just got cut again, and in the end, I just doesn't really have that much time to work on my own ideas. So yeah, so of course it will just lead to this kind of multiple broken prototype stack, maybe say for example one of it is physics simulation. Of course, if we are talking about physics simulation, I know some viewers are probably going to be shouting, there's already some commercial physics simulation out there, and there's even some free and open source. But of course, yes, as you know, I'm kind of picky, and by picky I mean very picky. The physics simulation should at least provide some sort of API for me, and ideally I should have full access to the physics simulation engine or whatnot. Ideally, what's in my idea should be it's practically like a game engine, ideally, and you can just create objects in it directly, you don't need to click button, you don't need to write a bunch of scripts, ideally it should just be something just possible to automate or just systematic, so maybe if there's some API, then you could just map to it, or maybe if there's no API, then never mind, at least it must be possible to be built from source, and maybe possibly have some method to cut some dependencies, maybe I don't need some calculus, maybe I don't need to simulate all of those particles, then I could just disable it ideally. But of course, no one's going to do such a perfect engine, right? Because the cost is too high, and if you make it open source, then I guess you're just doing some I don't know, volunteers saint job that nobody appreciates. Maybe some people appreciate, but they just don't really know how to appreciate it. Yeah, and you're just kind of suffering, I guess, just I don't know what's the proper word to describe it, but it's just soloing, just practically soloing, doing it. It's and those companies are going to just laughing at you, ha 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 ha, you look at this dumb programmer, they create this grand project, but it's open source and it's licensed MIT. Wow, so we can copy it and knock it create some, knock off or something and sell it. Woo, budget, profit, stonks, okay. so yeah. So of course there's like many of these ideas, like repackage jar. I also plan to do that because I found that having the ability to repackage jars is also very useful, and there's just like a ton of these ideas that I have just written down, but it's just not implemented yet. It's just left there. So yeah, and the only few projects that I have kind of touched on is, again, of course, my older projects. So for example, maybe like this noise generator crap. Okay, this got kind of sort up by me, and I just kind of make it more tidy and speed it up a little bit, make it neat, and just recompile it and whatnot. And of course there's also like some test case. I just put some tests for it, but yeah, that's it. There's not much to show off, and then there's like some downloader. I also like upgraded it, or maybe sort it up, to make sure it's like properly downloading stuff, make sure it's like fast and snappy, and it's like modular, kinda modular. It's not fully modular, it's like partially modular, where you can just like copy paste some command and we will just download as like an option, like some sort of processing there. So for example, maybe there's like the YouTube downloader, right? Everyone knows, there's free YouTube downloader, and there's like another, there's curl, right? Curl is just like generic, just downloads, websites online, it's not really download, but it just fetch, theoretically it's just like fetching infos, and just by default it will just dump a file into your computer. So yeah, and yeah, it's just like I don't know, like maintaining my older project. It's kind of lame. There's not much to show. It's just maintenance, man. It's just maintenance and fixing stuff and optimizing it. Yeah, of course it's not like totally bad, but it's just there's not much to show it. And if I'm like showing it again, then it's just like reuse content, okay? Like it's like YouTuber doing like the same content again and again, it's like lame. So yeah, there's not much to show, and I think that's it for this devlog. It's simple, nothing much to show, and yeah, that's it. See you.